Test, test. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to the OneClass channel. My name is Andrew and I'm currently doing Stat and Math at University of Toronto. And today we'll be going over some commonly asked mathematical questions at both the high school level and college level. And if you need some homework help or tutoring, please check out the link in the description below. So now let's start our session. All right. So the first question, let me just zoom in a bit. Okay. Good. It's asking us, what is the square root of 14? Okay, so let's write it down here. So, what is the square root of 14? Yeah. So, in order to simplify the square root of 14, we have to rewrite the number using method of prime factorization. Right, so we need to use the method of prime factorization. Right. So hence we determine the prime factors of the given number by trivial division. So let's write it down here. So determine the prime number, the prime factors of the given number by division. So we will have 14 divided by 2 is equal to 7. And so if we want to move 2 to the other side, it will be 14 is equal to 2 times 7. Right. So using the above equation, we can express the square root of 14 as, so it's right here, so express the square root of 14 as root 14 is equal to root 2 times 7. Right. And now we observe that none of the factors can be pulled out of the square root, and which means the radicals expression cannot be simplified. So let's write it here. None of the factors can be pulled out of the square root, which means the radical expression cannot be simplified. Right. So, therefore, we can write our conclusion. Oops. So, therefore, the radical expression root 14 is already in the simplest form. Right. So that's all we have for this question. Because when we at this step, we found out that none of the factors can be pulled off the square root, so root 14 will be the simplest form. But so let's say um, we are asking the square root of 81. So in this case, because 81 is equal to 9 times 9, right? So it also can be written as net square, and then if we want to take a square root of something square, that will be equal to the number itself. So in this case, the square root of root 81 will be equal to 9. As you can see here, we can still factor the 9 out, but in our case, like the 14 case, because 2 and 7 are already the prime factors, so none of the factors can be pulled out of the square root. So that's why we have root 14 as our answer. Yep. So I think that's all we have for this question. Let's leave a comment. Solution is correct. Well done. Okay. So now we have our second question. Which is asking us how to simplify root 41. Yeah. So similar to what we have above, like we all still need to use the method of prime factorization. However, we know that 41 cannot be expressed in the form of a square. So let's write it here. So 41 cannot be expressed in the form of a square. So therefore, root 41 is already in its simplified form. Right. And the reason why we need to consider a square is because whenever we want to take the square root of a square, it's always going to be equal to a itself, because we square something and then we take the square root of it, so it's still going to be equal to the number itself. So let's say, well, we got a square root of 4 squared is still going to be equal to 4, and 5 squared, and then we take a square root of that, it's still going to be equal to 5. So similar, if we want to take the square root of 6 squared, it's still going to be equal to 6. Yep. Yep. So in this question, so root 41 is already in the simplified form, since 41 cannot be expressed in the form of a square. Yep. So I think that's all we got for this question. Solution is correct. Right. Coming up, we have our next question. It's asking us to find, I think it finds a value of root 28. So first, we need to express 28 as a product of its prime factors. Right. So we know, like, you don't need to show this part in your answer paper, that's like a draft. So 28 is equal to 4 times 7, and since 7 is already a prime number, so we don't need to worry about that, so we can leave it there. And 4 is equal to 2 times 2, and we can stop there because 2 is a prime number as well. So now 28 can be represented by the number at the end of each branch. So that's going to be 2 times 2 times 7. Yep. So here, 28 can be written as 2 times 2 times 7. So if we want to apply the square root, apply the square root, and this will be equal to root 28 is equal to root 2 times 2 times 7. And then let's grouping the first two terms, grouping the first two terms, which will give us root 28 is equal to bracket 2 times 2 close bracket times 7. And the reason why we're doing this is because we call a squared is just equal to a times a, which is going to be a itself. Because if we want to take a square root of something squared, of a number squared, it is just going to be equal to the number itself. Right. So now we will get root 28 is equal to, so now we can take the 2 out. So 2 times root 7. Because 7 is a prime number already, so we cannot do too much on it. So therefore we can write our conclusion. Therefore, root 28 is equal to 2 root 7. Yep. And we can always check if our answer are correct or not. So we got 2 root 7 as our answer. Now let's write 2 in a form with a square root. So 2 is equal to square root of 4. So now we have square root of 4 times square root of 7, which gave us square root of 4 times 7, which is square root of 28. And we found out that 28 is what we have in the question as well. So we know that our answer is correct. Yeah. So yeah, so just remember, whenever you come across a question like this, always think about to represent the number into a form that is a product of its prime factors, and apply the square root and try to find out the a squared terms, so that, because whenever we take the square root of a squared, it's going to be equal to a itself, so we can take that out from the square root sign. Yep, so, and always you can also check your answer at the end. Yep, so I think that's all we got for this question. Let's leave a comment there. Correct answer. Well done. Oops. Okay. So our next question is asking us, oops, what is the equation of the following circle of the following circle in general form. Alright, so first let's recall what a general form is in order to find out what factors we need. Okay, so the general form of the equation of a circle, which is given by the formula x squared plus y squared plus dx plus ey plus f, which is equal to 0. And before we arrive at the general form, we first look at our standard form. So we call the standard form, we call the standard form. I'll change this part to blue. Which is given by the formula x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And let's define hk and r. So hk, where hk is the center of the circle, and r is just the radius. Right. So as seen from the given, if we look at the graph, we know that the center is at, see, so it's at the black dot right here. So it is negative 1 and 1. Yeah. Yeah. So now let's find out the center and the radius. So according to the graph, we have negative 1 and 1 as the center and 3 as the radius. Alright. So now, as you can see, we got our center, which is the HK, and we also got 3, which is our R. So we can apply this into our standard form. So let's see. So substitute into the standard form. Right. So we have, let's copy down the original formula. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So in our case, h will be negative 1, and because h is the x coordinate, and k would be positive 1, which is our y coordinate of the center, and given the radius, r is equal to 3. Okay, so now let's put the number in. So we have x minus, oops, that's h. Yeah, so x minus negative 1, it just becomes to x plus 1, and plus y minus k, so it's y minus 1 squared, and it's equal to r squared, where r is equal to 3, so it's equal to 3 squared. Right, so now Let's get rid of the exponent and bracket. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 and plus y squared minus 2y plus 1, which is equal to 3 squared, which is equal to 9. And we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 is equal to 9. And now we just need to combine the lecture. So combine the lectures and we'll transform it to the general form. Transform it into the general form. Right, so recall our general form look like this. I'll just copy it down. So it should be something look like this. So let me copy this part as well. So still we have x squared and y squared plus 2x minus 2y. Since we got plus 1 and plus 1, so there's plus 2 in total, so that is equal to 9. And then we want to move 9 to our left hand side in order to have a 0 on one side. So we need to minus 9 on both sides in order to get rid of the 9. So that's going to be x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 2y plus 2 minus 9, which is equal to 9 minus 9. Right. So now we will get x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 2y, and plus 2 minus 9 is just equal to minus 7, and which is equal to 9 minus 9, which is 0. Yep. So now you'll see that we are actually having the equation in the standard form, I mean in the general form. Yep. So that's all we got for this question. Yep. Yeah, so it is a long one. So let's just review one more time of how we finding the equation. So first, we always need, I mean just my personal habit, I always write down the general form first, and then we need to, since we're given the center of the circle and the radius, so we recall that, oops, I just need to charge my computer real quick. Yep. So since we know the center of the circle and we know the radius of the circle, so now we recall the standard form and we substitute the value of center and the value of radius into this equation, and then we, after some calculation, we will get something like this, and then we combine the likely terms and transform it into the general form. Yeah. So I think that's all we have for this question. Oh, and just in case you're wondering how we find out the radius as 3, is because the way I find it is when you look at the, what's that, x equal to -4 and x is equal to 2, and if we draw a line that crosses the center, that will, the distance will be from -4 to +2. So 2 minus -4, that will be 6 in total, and that will be our diameter. And so radius is a half of the diameter, so 0.5 times 6, so that gives us 3 as our radius. I'll just write it down. as a reference. So 2 minus -4 is equal to 6. 6 is the diameter, and then we use 1/2 times 6, which is 3, where 3 is the radius. Yep. So let's leave a comment there. So our next question is asking us, what is 0.5 as a fraction? What is 0.5 as a fraction? Yep. So we need to express a given decimal as a fraction, and we can observe from the decimal that it is at the 10th place. So this was a keyword down, so 10th place. So therefore, we can rewrite this as, so first, 0.5 is equal to 5/10. So imagine we got a 5.0 as our original value, and then we move 1 unit to the left in order to get 0.5. Yep. So by knowing this, our next step is just gonna be simplify. Simplify. Because we need to express that into its lowest term. I'll write it down here. To its lowest term. So we can divide 5 for both denominator and numerator. So this is equal to 5 divided by 5 over 10 divided by 5, which 5 divided by 5 is just 1, and 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. So therefore, we know that 0.5 is equal to 1/2. And yeah, so I think that's our answer. Good job. Yep, so I think that's all we have for today. And if you enjoyed today's Q&A and would like to be notified of when we do this next, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell below. And if you'd like to submit your own questions, please read the links in the description. Remember to leave a like and a comment and share this video with your friend. And this has been Andrew from OneClass. Hope to see you soon. Bye.